Pilgrim Takes Off is read by Abel Gongora, hope I'm pronouncing that right, and stars the cast of the original movie, as well as a few others, and is based on the comic series by Brian Lee O'Malley, and tells the story of a 20-something Toronto indie rocker's adventures in getting and keeping jobs, avoiding being kicked out of his apartment, and surviving encounters with the 7 evil exes of the new girl in town on whom he has a crush. Hello, you beautiful movie lovers. My name is Louis, aka Movie Fandom, and today we are talking about the new Scott Pilgrim show, Scott Pilgrim Takes Off, which is the recent anime that dropped on Netflix, based on the Brian Lee O'Malley comic book, like I said, that are huge. Hey, there are 6 of these. They're awesome. And in 2010, it got a movie by Edgar Wright, obviously, Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, which I love and is one of my personal favorite movies. And it did bomb, but it has regained a cult following of people loving it, including myself. And when they announced this, I was curious, and when the teaser dropped for it, back in, I want to say April earlier this year, I was really curious to check it out, and then when the trailer came out in about August, I think so, I was so excited for this, show, and, I finally watched it. It just dropped today on Netflix. I binged all 8 episodes, so, yeah, these are my just fresh, non-spoiler takes off this show, and what I think of it, and if I recommend it. First off, I want to say, I was expecting this to basically be a by-the-numbers adaptation of the comic books. That's what I was expecting. I was expecting them not to adapt the movie and just turn it animated, but I was just expecting the comics, which is what is happening recently right now with stuff like Harry Potter and Twilight, I guess. I know it's with Harry Potter, which, by the way, is such a bad idea, but, anyways, that's what I was expecting out of it. And, I just want to say this, and then when I put on the first episode, it was very different, but it was just the same. Basically, it was the same beginning as the book, but with some tiny stuff added on and some not on, which I guess it's that. And then something happens by the end of it. I'm not going to spoil it, and then I realized, so this isn't, and it did take a little bit to get used to until the second episode, admittedly, but when that happened, I got used to it, and now having seen it entirely, I love this. I love this show. In fact, I kind of prefer it than the movie. To be exact, I am kind of a casual Scott Pilgrim fan. I watched the movie years ago, and I kind of read the books, I guess. I guess they were in my school library, I guess, but I haven't played the video game off it. I'm not, like, the biggest fan out there, but I do like, the art style itself. I mean, I love the art style a lot, so, yeah, and, I was really excited for it, like I said, and now having seen it, and, okay, I'm just repeating myself. Sorry for that cut there, and, that very, and just me repeating myself, but genuinely, I love this. First off, I'm just gonna get it out of the way. The animation itself is obviously fantastic. I love the animation off it. It is obviously taking the style off the comics itself, and it really works with it. I loved it. I mean, it was just amazing, especially with action scenes. I mean, the first main one in episode 2, the one we get in episode 2 is just phenomenal. I loved it. It really goes
over the top in the best way possible. This entire show goes over the top, and it does it in the best way possible, and the animation itself really adds to it. And like I said, with the action scenes, they are amazing. I loved them, especially the one in the final episode, which just goes full on everything. I mean, genuinely, the action scenes themselves, they are basically like comic books, animation, obviously, but also, but as in animated, also, anime, anime, I'm trying to catch my breath, and also combine it with video games. They're like that a lot, and it really does work to its advantage. They're just it's so good. I love the animation, obviously. It is by far possibly easily the most talked about thing off it, maybe, but, the other thing is, I'm not really gonna say it, but, with the different take on it, because basically this is in a Scott Pilgrim story. This does involve Scott Pilgrim, obviously, but he's not really the main character in the show. The main character is mainly Ramona, and I actually loved it, because she's solving this mystery on what is going on, and I loved it. I mean, genuinely. And also the stuff we get with the axes themselves, especially one in particular, I loved. It also had a lot of heart with it that I really did like also. And it really did feel kind of emotional, actually. Also, obviously with them bringing back the original cast, they obviously do a great job, and at times they are kind of better than they were in the original movie. I mean, genuinely, I just loved them in it. They were just amazing. Genuinely. The humor itself also is really well done. I actually did find this show really funny, especially in, a documentary, parody, a mockumentary, basically, on this movie and that they're making in this world, and I absolutely loved that episode with the humor. I could not stop laughing with it. It's not the most hilarious thing ever, but I just cannot stop finding it funny. The entire show itself is really hilarious, but with its heart also. Its heart is really great, especially in episode 3, where it really does feel a lot off it, and it just really works, with it itself. Also the music itself is really good, not just the score itself, which the score is great, but also the soundtrack in general. That was really well. I love the soundtrack. The songs they do in here, they are really well incorporated, and even with the end credits also with them, I did like the music with that. Honestly, I loved it, and like I said, the score itself is really great, especially in action scenes. Also, they also really apply to the intensity, if you will, and just many other emotions with it. I loved the score to it. It is amazing, genuinely. But also the opening credits, the theme song itself is amazing. It's by Bloom, and I absolutely loved it. I loved the animation in it. I mean, genuinely, you can watch it on YouTube if you and if you haven't seen it yet, or if you don't want to and watch it when you watch the show, then I completely understand, but genuinely, it is awesome. I just love that song a lot. I mean, genuinely, and everything else also. I love the soundtrack. Also the sound itself is really great, not just the Foley itself. Well, yes, the Foley is very nice. I loved it. I loved the sound in it. It did have some pretty good sound effects, even though there isn't that much with it, but it was really great, and like I said, I just wanted, like, the acting itself. Also, I'm sorry for repeating myself, but yeah, I do want to say this. Like I said, this is very much not what I was expecting from it. This is not a full-on animated remake off the original movie. This is entirely different. It's I don't want to say it, like I said,
because of spoilers, because I would recommend going in without knowing it, but at least knowing it's not the same story as the comics or the movie or any of it. This is entirely different, and I do love that about it, but I'll just say, different. Okay, I'm repeating myself, I know, but different. I'll say that, especially with stuff we're getting a lot of. It doesn't really have that stuff with it, but yeah. If I'd say some kind of issues, maybe some characters, like, I would have liked a little more from Stacy Pilgrim, and also Scott Pilgrim himself, but still, even then, that really didn't bother me. Either way, and it did take a while to get used to. The pacing did feel off with that, but even then, that's just basically means nothing, honestly. But even with that, I loved this show a lot. I loved it. I just cannot stop praising it. I love the characters in it. They are the best they've ever been. The animation is phenomenal. Everything. I freaking love this. This is a work of art. Everyone who worked on this show, give yourself a pat on the back, because, I mean, genuinely, even more than that, this is phenomenal. This is a phenomenal work of art. I loved this show. This may be the best thing from the Scott Pilgrim franchise that I know of, at least, or that I've been a part of, whether reading or watching, or, you know, stuff like that. This may be better than the movie. I don't know. I do feel like the pacing in the movie was off, but here, I just loved it. And I wouldn't mind watching it again. And I do hope there is a season 2, honestly, but even with how it ended, I kind of don't want it to. Though they do kind of set up for something else in the final episode with a post-credit scene a little bit that's very brief that I do like, and I am really curious to see what they'll do with this. Also, I'm not gonna say it exactly, but there is an Easter egg if you are a fan of someone who works on this. And there's also a joke in the end. There's probably some other Easter eggs in the beginning with them, but especially at the end, I just loved it. Yeah, overall, I love the show. Obviously, it's amazing. Young Neil, I love young Neil. He is me. But yeah, overall, Scott Pilgrim Takes Off. I loved it. Watch it, please, especially if you are a fan. It's a work of art. Amazing. And I'm gonna give Scott Pilgrim Takes Off an A+. Maybe a little high, but I don't care. I love this so much. So those were my thoughts on Scott Pilgrim Takes Off. What did you think about this show? Did you love it, hate it? Let's agree, disagree down below in the comments. Come and tell me. My next review will be for the new Hunger Games movie, followed by Rustin and some others probably soon. I will review the first 4 episodes of Invincible Season 2 whenever I get around to catching up on them. But anyways, that's it from me for now. Yeah, stay awesome.